Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Bridget Webster with the Eye Care Program. Welcome to our 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. session on Parenting 2.0, Raising Responsible Digital Citizens, presented by Dr. Sarah Haney. Receiving her doctorate of education from University of Louisiana at Monroe, Louisiana, Dr. Haney is equipped with the education and experience to challenge parents to answer this question. Are your children practicing internet safety? Prepare to learn the best answers to ensure social media and internet safety for your children. Additionally, you will also learn more about current trends regarding technology use in social media. Please place your comments and questions in the chat to be addressed at the end of this presentation. Also, remember to complete the evaluation immediately following this session and receive your certificate. Lastly, contact the Eye Care office if you have any questions regarding your certificate. I present to you Dr. Sarah Haney.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for joining after your lunch break, because I'm sure you guys have the little itis going on right now, so you may feel a little sleepy. So thank you guys very much for joining. I'm sure the audience amount will continue to increase because everyone's coming back from their lunch. So if you're here for Parenting 2.0, Raising Responsible Digital Citizens, you're in the right spot. So welcome. A little bit about me. My name is Dr. Sarah Haney. I am the coordinator, of tech integration for East Baton Rouge Parish School System. I have been in education for 9 years. So I have been a classroom teacher for 4th and 5th grade gifted, as well as for middle school. And then I transitioned to the Department of Tech Integration, where I primarily support teachers with successfully implementing technology into their classrooms. So that is my whole spiel. As you guys can see on here, I have a few things about myself just to kind of make it this more of a casual presentation with you guys. So I am a rescue mama. My husband and I have a rescue dog, Howie. He's my little boo. I am a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, as well as Junior League of Baton Rouge. And I do have degrees from Southeastern, ULM, and LSU. And then over here on the left-hand side, you'll see some students with technology. Whenever I was a classroom teacher, I always wrote grants, did donors choose, did different items to get as much technology into my classroom while still practicing those safe practices with my students in the class with technology. I love tech. I am a tech, I feel like, guru in my head, at least. So I do try to show teachers and parents how to effectively use technology with their students, I should say, and their children. And I love books. I'm a former ELA teacher. That is my jam. I love to read all things. So that's why I have the books up there. So first, let's talk about digital immigrants versus digital natives. Okay, so this little comic right here sums up the verses between digital immigrants and digital natives. So we have the dad, maxing and relaxing in his little chair right there, and he's asking his daughter, "Hey, sweetie, how was school today?" while he's reading his newspaper. His daughter's right there saying, "Dad, just go to my blog and read all about my little first day at school." That is a perfect example of the differences between digital immigrants and digital natives. So digital immigrants are the adopters of technology. They prefer to talk in person versus over a phone or through text or through email. They're logical learners, typically, and they also typically focus on one task at a time. And they may get information from traditional news sites like a newspaper, those kind of magazines, those kind of sources. Whereas a digital native, they're normally born during or after the digital age, which falls around the 1980 mark. So different research says different things. Some may say 1981, 83, but most of the time it's around 1980. So anyone born after 1980 is considered a digital native. They're always on or attached to a phone or other device. So they either always have their cell phone in their hand, using social media some kind of way, sending emails or texts. They're highly familiar with computers and internet from an early age. They're more social online, so they may have multiple social accounts across Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. They're easily adapted and easily to adopt new things also, and they are multimedia oriented. So we've talked about digital natives and immigrants. Let me know, which category do you guys fall in using the chat box? Are you a digital immigrant? So it's maybe someone born before 1980. You may have a social media account, but you're not that heavy on it. Or are you a digital native? You were born out the womb with an iPad in your hands, or you feel fairly comfortable with using technology across different platforms, social media, laptops, things like that. So just either answer in your chat, or you can just place it in your head. And this is really important because how you interact with your students as well as with your children is based on if you are a digital immigrant or a digital native. So if you're a digital immigrant, you are coming from a whole complete different place, mind frame, perspective, experience, everything, and you're trying to approach your student or your child about technology. Versus if you are a digital native, you kind of understand some of the things that your children or your students may interact with on a daily basis. So we have a lot of digital immigrants. I am a digital native. I was born in 88, so I'm like smack dab in the middle of that whole little shebang. So I feel like I'm fairly confident with technology. Of course, the older I get, it takes a little bit longer for me to kind of grasp things like TikTok. I still kind of don't understand that completely, but I am slowly kind of gaining that confidence. And it's the same for digital immigrants. It's not saying that you don't use technology at all. It's just that you may take a little bit longer sometimes to get on the train or to really grasp how to use that piece of technology. So let's talk about the digital landscape. So digital natives, which are our students right now, our kids, they're all digital natives right now. So they have a different digital landscape that we, as their parents or as their teachers or coaches, must be aware of to effectively meet their needs. This is their digital landscape. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, even PlayStation and Nintendo, they have those chat type of interfaces within those platforms. So you need to be familiar with these different platforms in order to know what to look for within your actual household or your classroom, and then know how to support them if something comes up that they need extra support for. So with the digital landscape, personal relationships are heavily influenced by the bubble, which is the internet. For some reason, and I have no idea why, but for our children nowadays, someone under the age of 20 to a baby, they don't really understand that whatever they do on the internet could have or possibly will have real life actual consequences. They live in this little bubble and they think whatever they do on the internet will not follow them in real life. So communicating that with your child or with your students, having them understand that whatever you do on the internet is forever. It doesn't matter if you immediately delete it or if you only share it to one person, it is on the internet forever. So understanding what they see on the internet is also really, really helpful. I saw this quote while I was doing some research on this presentation, and it's very impactful. Like a face tattoo, the things your child posts to the internet or public forums could be discoverable by college recruiters, employers, or those out to paint your child in a negative way. So understanding that they should be mindful of what they're posting on the internet at all times, and relaying that to them as well as teaching that to them is really important and a great practice to have. So with the digital landscape, it also requires that they typically accept the internet as their primary medium for any interaction. I know when I was younger, I'm not a tomboy, but I would always stay outside, riding my bike around my neighborhood. I'll go to my friend's house down the street to my cousin's house, go to the little woods behind my grandma's home. I'll just stay outside all day, every day. But nowadays, our students and our children, they primarily interact through their phones, text messages, YouTube, Instagram, things like that. They're more comfortable with that public or social media persona versus their real life self in the real world. They typically spend time online up to 13 hours per week. That has increased just over 5 years from 8 hours. 5 years ago, it was only 8 hours. Now it's 13 hours per week. It's crazy to see and to even imagine where it's going to be in 1 year or 2 years, now that we're mainly at home now because of COVID and the pandemic. Social networking and games dominate the time that they spend online. So just understanding what they're doing online can really allow you to monitor what they're doing as well as support them. So cyberbullying is something that happens. It's been happening. It's nothing new, but it's really, I think the reason why everyone's really hypersensitive to this issue is because we've seen the repercussions and the consequences from what could happen if it's not taken seriously. So a couple of just quick facts. Is your child being cyberbullied? So 34% of students have been cyberbullied. They may not have told you, but they have experienced some form of cyberbullying. Girls are typically twice as likely to be bullies. There is a higher risk of depression than normal bullying. It's a 7 times higher risk for children to be bullied by people they actually know. So you may have experiences with your actual child. I know I have a younger sister. She's in middle school. She's been bullied by her actual friends. It's never really someone that they don't know. It's normally their own friends actually spearheading the attack on them. 70% of the students report seeing frequent bullying online. So they may not have experienced it, but they know someone who has gone through that, or they have actually seen it happen firsthand. And then, of course, 9 times higher of being victim of identity fraud, because they don't understand you should not share all your things online to anyone. So cyberbullying means bullying through any electronic means. That means it could be internet, it could be through social media, it could be through even YouTube comments. Any type of bullying through an electronic platform is considered cyberbullying. It can occur on any social media platform. So not just Instagram, not just a chat room. I know when I was growing up, we had the Yahoo Messenger and AOL chat. That is defunct. That is no longer in existence. So that doesn't mean cyberbullying is now gone. It's just moved to a different platform. So things it's going to transfer. It's going to grow. It's going to transform, of course. So based on the social media platform, cyberbullying can definitely occur. It can be, of course, we all know, fatal. All children are impacted. And like I said earlier, girls are more likely, but all children are impacted. So you need to be hyper aware about that. So how is it different? So it can occur anywhere, either laptop, phone, social media, Facebook. It can be even in Google Classroom if the teacher is not being proactively and they're not being proactive and watching what's going on in the actual Google Classroom. If they have the comments turned on, the children can have a field day in Google Classroom. So it can happen to anything or within anything. It is publicly visible to anyone. So typically that's how it occurs. It's not just between one or two people. It's normally through a group of people and they're all experiencing and seeing what's going on. It's constant. It's not just one little attack and that's it. It's someone pushing that button over and over and over again on that child or on that person, regardless of where they are, school, play, home. And because it's on the internet and they have it at their fingertips via their phone or their tablet, it's accessible anywhere. So it's not only happening at school. It isn't only happening at home. It can happen 24/7, 365. Typically, with cyberbullying, something may go viral. So you may have an inappropriate picture being shared, and then that goes viral because someone shares it with someone else. They post it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. Or a video may go viral, or a private conversation may go viral. So typically in cyberbullying instance, something viral happens and is shared across multiple people or multiple parties. And unfortunately, due to that, it could result in self-harm or suicide. So your child may feel a range of emotions if they're the target of cyberbullying. So you should always be mindful of these things, having in the back of your mind. If you notice any changes in their behavior, that is like a very big red flag waving in front of your face. So a few changes in behavior that you may see is just being overwhelmed or disinterested anything that they normally used to be really passionate about. If your child loves to dance, if your child loves to draw or play with Legos or whatever the case may be, and they no longer just seem just over it and it's just unexplained, that's one thing to be mindful of. Irrational anger, coming out of nowhere, having a temper when they never really had a temper prior to that is something that's really big to focus on. Isolation, they no longer want to hang out with Bobby, and Bobby is his best friend or her best friend since kindergarten, and he's in 8th grade, and he no longer wants to hang out with Bobby for whatever reason. Sudden depression, so sleeping a lot, not talking, not wanting to talk to you, being sick, not wanting to go to school, saying that their stomach hurts, being embarrassed, and then, of course, having those self-harming thoughts or suicidal thoughts. So noticing these very slight changes in your child or your students can mean the world. You can easily identify, okay, maybe something's going on, and then have those necessary parties step in to help try to figure out what's going on with your child. I tell teachers and parents all the time, just talk and listen. Sometimes I don't have any children yet, but I can imagine how I would be as a parent because my mom was this way with myself and my sister. Sometimes parents just don't want to listen. They just want to talk, fuss, and not be quiet and listen to what's going on. And sometimes you need to just stop talking and just listen. Listen to your child, listen to the student, see what's going on, investigate on your side. You should not interact with the bullies, of course, but you need to talk and listen to them and see exactly what's going on. When did it start? What exactly is going on that could be impacting the actual security on the internet, how they feel, things like that. So just being mindful of those kind of things is really, really important. Remain vigilant. So you need to be sure that you're communicating with your child or with your students. Ask questions about online activities. Ask them what they think about online bullies. So don't just let them have a computer and their door closed and you never talk to them about what they're doing on the internet. And you just trust that they're just doing their assignments online. No, say, hey, boo, come here. What are you doing today on the internet? Or what were you doing on the internet? Ask them what they think about online bullies. Have that conversation. Say, hey, do you know what a bully is? Okay, great. Do you know what an online bully is or what cyberbullying is? So having that very simple level 1 is nothing deep. Very simple level 1 conversation with your child or with your students will really help them understand and be aware of those small things that may be happening that they don't really realize is actually happening in front of them. And then telling them to tell you if something happens online. Sometimes kids don't want to say anything because they think you may fuss about it, or they may not think it's important to you. So having that conversation saying, hey, if you experience anything online that is not pleasant or nice, or you're afraid for something, or even if you witness something, come and tell me. So having that conversation with them, letting them know that it's okay to come and talk to you, asking those questions, and just communicating with them is a great first step. Because if not, sadly, we know the potential consequences. This picture is very kind of startling to look at. You see someone being bullied online, and then in the background, you see the action that they have chosen. And we don't want them to ever get to that point to where they feel like they cannot talk to anyone, that the internet is just the end all be all, because sadly, some of our students do think that whatever's happening on the internet is the end of the world. They cannot come back from it. Nothing will change anyone's outlook or perspective. Their world is over with. They cannot go to college, etc. No, if you talk and listen to them while they're talking and really try to remain vigilant, we should hopefully be able to streamline and not have to worry about this consequence coming after that. So a few strategies to support. So you should decide when your child is ready to use online platforms. I have heard so many parents saying that they let their 7-year-old get on Instagram or their 8-year-old get on TikTok. You should be really mindful of how you're allowing, and when, I should say, you're allowing your child to use online platforms. A child can be 16 years old and still not ready to use an online platform. You know your child the best. You know your students the best. So having those conversations, kind of gauging their emotional maturity as well as their overall maturity is really important. Because like I said, they can be 16 years old and still not ready to be online on Instagram or TikTok. So it doesn't matter how old they are. Of course, that is a factor, but that should not be the end all be all. You shouldn't just say, okay, when you turn 13, here you go, you can be on social media. No, you should still reflect, engage their overall maturity, and not just within themselves, but with their peers. They can be very mature with you at home, but how are they at school? How are they with their classmates, with their friends, with their cousins or their siblings? Stress the respect of others. So, okay, great, you're mature, but are you being respectful to your teachers at home, at school, or to your sister here, or to me and your dad? So you need to stress that respect, and then set clear rules and consequences. So oftentimes it's like the wild, wild west. I feel like parents just give a kid a phone, no consequences, no rules about it. They can have it all day, every day. They don't have to worry about what time they are up on the phone, on social media, on at nighttime. They can just have and live their best life. Set clear rules and consequences to ensure that they are following what your set rules are. You want them to follow those rules and remain safe. And that allows you to, back to what I said earlier, remain vigilant. Take the problem seriously. So if your child comes to you and says, hey, mom, or hey, dad, so-and-so, I saw something online earlier, so-and-so said some really mean things about me or about Bobby. Listen to what they're saying and take it seriously. Investigate on your side. Ask to see what's going on. If it's deleted, because we know that that's how typically bad people move. They may move and they immediately delete it. If it's deleted, it's okay. Still take it seriously and then see what you can do on your side to investigate. Assure your child that you will make it stop. Don't just say, okay, I'm busy. I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead, bye. I'm on a Zoom call right now. I can't do it right now because I'm working on a brief for work. Assume, or assure, I should say, your child will make that you're going to make it stop. Do not react to the bully. So in very few instances, the bullies don't care if the parents are in the room. You may walk in with a basket of clothes for your child, and the bully is just reaming into your child online, and they see you walk in and they don't care. Don't react to the bully. Record it and report it. It's illegal now. There are some severe, very severe repercussions that come with cyberbullying. So record it, report it, and give it to the proper authorities. Some more strategies to support. So model good behavior. I know I'm really bad at this. My phone is in my hand when I'm at home all the time. So I'm really, really bad at this. So turn off your mobile phone and your devices during dinner or while participating in family activities. So if y'all are going to the park, leave your phones in the car, or leave all the phones, but bring one with you just for safety purposes, because the world is still crazy. And put it in your purse and do not touch it while you guys are spending time together. Or for dinner time, leave your phones at a specific spot in the kitchen so that you all can have an uninterrupted time together as a family. So model good behavior, because if your phone's always in your hands, then your kid's gonna be like, well, shoot, her phone in her hand all the time. I want my phone in my hand all the time also. So they will feel more compelled to follow those rules that you're setting in your household if everybody in the family is abiding by that. Pay attention. Know when, know where, know how, know what they're doing at all times online. So you should not, like I said earlier, you should not give your kid a laptop or a tablet or a phone and let them live their best life in their room with the door closed. No. I know when I was younger, I got my first ever desktop. I was so excited, you guys. So very excited. But my mom said, no, girl, it's going to be right there in that corner of your bedroom, but the door will remain open at all times. I want the computer screen facing the doorway, so if I pass by, I can see what you're doing at all times. It was not a free, just here, a free prize. Nope. I had to still follow her rules. My mom knew where I went at all times. She knew what I was doing at all times. So So just remember those small little things. Impart your values. So remember having that conversation with them. Cheating, lying, being cruel online is not acceptable. And if I find out that you're doing that, you will not have any technology in your hands at all, besides for school or Chromebook for school. That's it. Be ensuring that they understand the concepts of right and wrong when it's online. So I think our kids understand that they should not hit someone in real life, right? Or kick someone in real life. But because the online world is fairly new, it's not new, but it's fairly still new, they kind of struggle a little bit with how to properly behave online. What should they share online? Things like that. So just understanding and teaching them right and wrong and how it applies to online life is very, very important. Establish limits. So you're going to want to always set a clear time or texting limits and time of day restrictions so that they understand when it is appropriate to use technology. So going back to that modeling good behavior, don't just set a rule and say no phones after 8 o'clock. Practice what you preach also. You also put the phone up at 8 o'clock. Have some family time, watch a new TV show, binge watch a new show on Hulu or Netflix. So actually set clear time and texting limits so that they're not on their phones all day, every day. I know most iPhones, even Androids, have a security feature in it to where it can, or an app to where you can really control what time, how long they're on their devices, things like that. Support their interests in offline activities that don't require an actual mobile or internet device. So if they want to go to art class, take them to art class. If they want to go play a sport, take them to play that sport. Encourage them to get outside and not to always be inside. Now, I know the world we live in nowadays is a very crazy world. So you have to be really mindful of them just going outside and not being aware of what's going on around them and their surroundings. So you want to just be sure that you are practicing those good things, talking to them about safety when they're going outside, but support their outside activities or their offline activities. Encourage balance. So by supporting those offline activities, you are encouraging that balance. It's okay to sometimes put your phone up. It's okay sometimes to grab your phone and check in with a friend or with your cousin, but encourage that balance with your children. Make them accountable. At the end of the day, technology is a privilege. It is not a need. It's a want. So make them accountable, have them understand that this is a privilege. This phone, this nice, I think it's like $1,000 now for an iPhone. This nice $1,000 iPhone is a privilege. It is not something that I have to give to you for you to survive. I only have to give you shelter, food, and water, and an education, and clothes on your back. That's it. So stress to them that that is a privilege. If they do not behave, if they don't take care of their household chores, or they don't make good grades or acceptable grades in school, then that can be snatched away. So talking to them and holding them accountable will allow them to take more interest and to hold themselves accountable as well. Do your homework. If you hear your child at the dinner table or in the car ride home talking about TikTok, but you don't know what a tick or a talk is, research what it is. Google what it is. YouTube what it is. There's a YouTube video for everything. So if you're hearing this word always being used, or this app or website always being used, research what it is so you can remain knowledgeable of what your child is going to, as well as you know what they're going to, which is the most important part. Know what songs that they're downloading. If you hear them say a certain quote or a rapper like Rod Wave or NBA Youngboy or whoever, okay, grab your phone, Google NBA Youngboy. Okay, I don't know about him. And, have the conversation with your children. So kind of remain knowledgeable of what they're doing at all times, what websites, what apps, and what songs they're listening to. And then as well as why they're using technology in the first place. Sometimes put the app up, put the phone up. You're not doing any work? Okay, let's go ahead and watch some TV. Or let's go on a walk around the block or ride our bikes around the block. So just remaining knowledgeable of what your child is doing online, who they're talking to, what they're researching, what they're interacting with, allows you to remain vigilant. When in doubt, think about it and talk it out. So if you're not sure, and teach your children this as well, think about it. Is this the right action I should do? Is this correct? I'm not sure. Okay, if you're not sure, come to me and let's talk it out. Or go to a responsible adult and talk to them about it as well. So one important thing with our children and our students, they need to be good citizens. And not just in the real world, but also online. So you can be a poor citizen online as well as a poor citizen in the real world, right? I can speed, I can go and, do some harmful things to someone else. I can go and kick a puppy dog, which I would never do because I love dogs so very much. But I can be a very not nice person in real life. The same thing applies online also. So talking to them about what makes a good citizen online as well as in real life is really, really important. So you should review that they should be responsible, right? So not sharing their passwords or their actual information about themselves online. Remaining kind, giving credit, don't plagiarize. I taught ELA. You guys have no idea how hard it is for a child to understand you cannot just copy a line from a Wikipedia or from whatever website and pass off as your own. So showing them how to give credits, being always aware of their surroundings online, knowing their footprint. I'm going to come back to that one. And then safety first, being safe. Do not share any of your information to anyone that you do not know. You just don't share it at all online because anyone can be anyone and they can fake being that person, I should say. Know your footprint. So I typically do a little quick spiel with people about knowing your footprint. I did it with my students whenever I taught middle school specifically. First day of school, I would have them come on, grab their devices, their Chromebooks, and Google themselves. And even adults, I would have adults do this too in any of my sessions. I would have them Google themselves. And you will be really shocked at what comes up. Your name is powerful, especially if you have a very unique name like myself. My name is Sahara. I don't know anyone else named Sahara. They have the desert, of course, and they have other people, I'm sure, in the world. But my name, the combo of Sahara Haney, is very, very unique. So if I were to Google that, even my maiden name, Sahara Glasper, if I were to Google that, it's not anyone else in the world with that name combo. My middle name makes it even more unique. I'm not gonna tell y'all my middle name at all because that's a whole other story. But my middle name is very unique. So unless your name is John Smith, some things may come up if you put the city and state, but not really. But if your name is Sahara Haney, then yeah, some things will come up. So Googling yourself is really impactful because it allows you to see what is out there on the internet for the world to see and for the world to research about you. So I'm gonna do that really quickly. I'm going to share my screen and I'm gonna Google myself. So I type in my first and last name, my married name. You'll see these different sites pop up. I have my team site, I have my Twitter handle, YouTube, my LinkedIn, all these things, pictures of me. This is like something from, I think, Twitter, Pinterest, like all these different things come up. If I go to my images, some are pictures of me, some are pictures of people that I may know, who I may have commented on their picture before. I don't know who any of these people are over here, but this shows you that your name holds weight on the internet. You have a footprint that you don't even know you're leaving behind yourself. Of course, besides social media, like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, I did that. So I know I put that on the internet. But this website for our team, I didn't do that. Someone else did. Me just joining this council is right there. So your name carries weight on the internet. teaching your children and your students that their name is very important, what they do, their actions, things like that, carries weight across the internet, and they should be mindful of all of their steps across every platform. Nothing is deleted on the internet. It all lives forever. So here are some 10, not just some, 10 safety tips for parents to use with their children for internet safety, as well as just be a good citizen online. So I tell this to teachers probably 5 times a week. If I had $1 for every time I told a teacher this, I would probably be a little bit richer than what I am now as an educator. So don't block. And by don't block, I mean if a child is abusing YouTube, or if a child is abusing a certain platform, don't block technology. That is not a practical solution. You're not teaching them anything, right? You're just saying this is bad. Okay, give it to me, bye. You should teach them how to appropriately use it. They may not understand how to appropriately use that platform or that website. So showing them how to appropriately use that platform, that website, is a better choice than just removing it completely from their life. Because when they do receive that access back, they're not going to be able to know, like, they won't know what to do with it, right? We have a little question in the chat. So yes, I will, Miss Dr. Thornton will have access to this, so she can contact her for access to it. Yes. The Gumbo, I like your name. So try to not avoid, like, don't block things. Show them how to effectively use it from their perspective. If they're going on YouTube and they're searching inappropriate videos, or they're watching inappropriate things, don't just block it. Monitor them, of course, closer, and then show them how to effectively use it for those purposes. Collaborate. Take an interest in what your child is doing on the internet. TikTok is something brand new. Due to COVID, it just kind of just blew up because everyone was at home doing their dances and things like that. I love TikTok. Like, I would go on there and be on there for an hour. I don't have any children, but if I did, I now have something that I can talk to my child about because of TikTok. So don't think you're above it. Download it, learn about it, go through the different videos and the images and things like that to kind of learn more about their interests and why they love it so much. Be the parent. End of the day, you're in charge. You know your children the best. Set boundaries. Consider web filtering. So some easy ones are, I know Norton is one that everyone probably knows. Your internet provider probably has a filtering software for you to purchase that allows you to set those boundaries and those rules online. Teach them privacy. Don't share your name, your address, your phone number, passwords, your plans for the weekend, etc. online. Those are private things. They should remain close to your chest and should not be shown or shared out loud to everybody. Helping your children navigate and filter things that are not necessarily true is really important. Teaching middle school and having them do papers and things like that, they will go to Wikipedia and pull everything from Wikipedia as if it was just facts. But then I had to teach them, hey, you guys, Wikipedia is an open page. Anyone can go to Wikipedia and change information about whoever you're trying to research on or whatever topic you're actually reading about. So you should, use it, but then cross-check that information with a more effective or good site for you to actually pull good research from. So showing them how to filter information and navigate the truth from a lie is very important online. Unplug. You guys have heard this multiple times today. Unplug. Balance that green time with the screen time. So green time meaning outside time, screen time meaning your laptop, your phone, tablet. Communicate, work with your child to navigate those digital problems and issues. Encourage open communication and avoid using devices as rewards and punishments. Don't threaten to take the phone if they're not behaving appropriately. Try something else. Or don't give them the phone back if they are behaving appropriately. Try to avoid using the device as a reward or a punishment. Rules. Create a family media agreement with tech-free zone. So the car is a tech-free zone. Whenever we're sitting down for dinner, tech-free zone. Whenever we're all watching our favorite show at 8 o'clock on Thursday, tech-free zone. That's family time. So set those rules and those regulations. Once again, learn, educate yourself of where your child is going. And 13 plus. Just because your child is 13 years of age or older does not mean they should just go and sign up for any website or any social media account. That is their rules, like Instagram, Twitter, you should be 13 plus, TikTok, 13 plus to join. But the things on there are not 13 plus, or I should say are not 13 years old appropriate. So just be mindful of that. Just because they turn 13 years old does not mean that they should have a free range to the internet and to the online platforms. When they do sign up, you should have access to all of their usernames and passwords. So if you go ahead and let them have a TikTok account, okay, great. But I want your login and password. Or if you have an Instagram account, okay, great. But I want your login and password also. Be supportive and listen. Like I said earlier, as parents, as teachers, we're always talking. And we're the adults, right? So we believe we're always right. And most of the times we are. But sometimes you need to just stop talking, hold your mule. Like I tell everybody else, hold your mule and listen to what the child is telling you. Be supportive and listen. Are there any questions? I know we had the question earlier. I'm sure that went back up at the very right here. So this presentation will be available for attendees. I'm going to email this to Dr. Thornton and she will have it, so you can definitely reach out to her for easy access. Are there any additional questions, comments, or concerns about how to support your child on the internet? Okay. Well, if not, have a great day, you guys. This has been recorded, I should say. So if you want to rewatch the recording, if you missed the first half of it or the first few minutes of it, come back to the same link and it will be right here for you guys for easy access. Have a great day.